reports in Iranian state television that Iran has seized another British tanker in the Persian Gulf, which has been the site of many confrontations between Iran and the West in recent weeks. Two U.S. officials confirmed these reports, but the UK says it's investigating. Let's cross now live to London, where I'm joined by our UK correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti. Jonathan, if those reports turn out to be true, what can we expect the UK's next move to be? More aggressive, perhaps, than last time around?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, Ayman. And of course, what we know is that this gradual build-up has been taking place over the last few days and weeks. Of course, remember, it all started when, off the coast of Gibraltar, British forces helped to detain a supertanker there because they said that it was carrying Iranian oil towards Syria. Now, they were very specific to point out that this wasn't, on their part, an attempt to stop the cargo because it was Iranian, but they said simply because it was breaking EU sanctions on Syria, that was why they helped to seize that tanker. The Gibraltarians have said they plan to keep that tanker detained for another 30 days, something which has absolutely inflamed the ire of the Iranians. And then, of course, in the Persian Gulf itself, there have been these constant tit-for-tat with the attempt by the Iranian ships to intervene in a British flag-bearing tanker, and now, of course, this news. So it's definitely increasing the tensions, but at all times, Britain has been saying that what it wanted to do was not increase tensions, not get involved with those US pushes towards further sanctions on Iran and Iranian oil, but to help to de-escalate tensions. It looks now that that may not be what's happening.
Jonathan, put things in context for us in terms of how the UK is concerned, the importance of the Strait of Hormuz, the site we're discussing.
Well, of course, the Strait of Hormuz is not just of importance to Britain and the EU, but of course to all Western consumers of oil and other goods. A huge percentage of the internationally used oil that is shipped by sea goes through this thin stretch of seaway, which of course brings it very close to Iran. That means that if Iran wants to seize control of the waterways there, wants to make it difficult for goods, especially oil, to get through there, that will increase enormously the price of oil because of the vast detours that tankers will have to make in order to get oil from the Gulf, from the Middle East, round, say, to the UK or to the EU or to elsewhere in the world. And thus, this is an essential waterway, a defense of which is very important, not just to the US, not just to the UK, but of course, as I said, to the whole Western world.
Jonathan, stay with us. Our senior international affairs correspondent, Owen Alterman, joins me now in studio. And Owen, what is the UK to do? On the one hand, it's trying to keep the nuclear deal with Iran alive, but on the other hand, it must at some point respond to attacks like this.
And what timing, Ayman? Again, the Conservative Party is set to announce who the new Prime Minister of the UK is on Tuesday morning, British time, and that person will have a full inbox as soon as he or she, it's only two men running, moves into 10 Downing Street. Look, I suspect that what Jonathan said is right. The British aren't going to want to escalate tensions. They're not going to want to increase the tensions. They're going to want to try to tamp things down. That's the approach they've taken until now. Importantly, as Jonathan said, it was actually today that that court in Gibraltar decided to extend the detention of that Iranian tanker. And we should say, by the way, Ayman, 4 Iranians who are the crew members on that tanker are sitting maybe in prison in Gibraltar. Again, in that tanker now there for 30 days. So the Iranians will claim that this is a tit-for-tat move. And just as the British have decided to continue to detain that tanker in Gibraltar, the Iranians have decided to take this tanker that was apparently headed for Saudi Arabia, pull it off course into a port in Iran. One final note, Ayman, which is this. Again, all coming against the backdrop of the U.S. pressure on Iran, and again, so much going on in that arena. And again, this the British having to, I know what I wanted to add as well, which is that, again, in the last incident in the Persian Gulf, it was the British Navy that was able to scare away, apparently, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards and stop them, apparently, from taking that tanker in. The question is, what happened in this incident? We had been hearing that the British Navy, that the Royal Navy, was going to be escorting British-flagged ships that were traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. What happened here?